Khristina from Redefine Creative, and I am super excited to be back with another Stretch the Sketch layout. And to celebrate 1 year, 1 whole year of sketches, we are revisiting a sketch from this year, but we are using it in its traditional format. So we are changing things up. So rather than stretching into a double page spread or making it into a traveler's notebook layout, we are creating a regular 12 by 12 layout. And so the sketch that I was given had all kinds of speech bubbles going down the left-hand side, and then it had a spot for 2.5 by 3.5 photos. And so I am kind of adjusting that to work with my photo and the supplies that I wanted to use. So I am playing with the new Felicity Jane kit, so the latest one that I have received, which is June. Yes, June. And so I have taken a black and white photo, and this is just a photo of me, which is not something that I scrapbook very often. And I am backing it with a really thin white cardstock border and then a black cardstock border. And I'm going to go ahead and put a thicker border of this kind of heart outline paper. So it has a ton of hearts that are just a black and white outline. And then a few of them are colored in with the different colors from this particular collection. And I've also trimmed off the branding strip from the bottom because I believe that I want to use that as I'm putting this layout together. Then I'm going to go ahead and back that with this darker pink colored cardstock, and this comes in the kit as well to make sure that everything coordinates. And I'm going to go ahead and use that branding strip on the bottom that just has a little bit of a scallop edge just to add some more dimension underneath my photo. And that striped paper in the background right there is going to become the background for my layout. And so you will see in the sketch, I have kind of flipped the sketch to have the speech bubbles be across the top. So rather than having them go down the side of the layout, I'm going to have mine arranged all across the top of my layout. And the reason I did that is just because it worked with these chipboard speech bubbles that I had. They, like the arrows at the bottom, seem to fit better to work across the top of the layout than they did to work down the side, which is totally fine. And it also kind of fit better with my photo, as since I was using one 4x6 instead of two 3x4s. And then I have that one little heart speech bubble that I'm going to put kind of down towards the bottom, and I'm going to make that into its own little embellishment cluster. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some more little details here underneath my photo. And I've also pulled some little die cuts that I'm going to add to those speech bubbles to the top. I'm not going to add any words or anything to them. I just kind of want to leave them as they are with the different patterns. So I'm adding in some florals just to kind of show that it was intentional. It wasn't something that's like unfinished. And I want to do some stamping on this layout as well. And so as I was putting this layout together, a lot of it was I knew I wanted my title to be just me. But I felt like as it was coming together, all of the lines and all of the areas of this layout were kind of like showing this like perfect image. Everything was perfectly cut and perfectly layered. And I definitely didn't feel like that really goes along with the picture of me. I much more am like the kind of crazy, messy, imperfect personality. And so I wanted to find a way to kind of messy up the layout a little bit so that it isn't or wasn't perfect. And so that's going to come through in a bunch of my inking and stamping as we keep going. But at this point, I'm just making sure that I kind of have everything that I want to have layered up underneath. I'm adding in a little tag and some different layers off to the side of my floral, just like there is in the sketch itself. And then I'm going to go ahead and also add some puffy stickers as well as one of these little charms into the top of my tag. And that's going to just create some additional dimension by having those different kind of textures and heights of embellishments and things. I'm going to add this little enjoy today and a few hearts kind of underneath my picture down on the left. And then I'm going to add some of those same little puffy stickers over on the other side of my photo towards the top of the embellishment cluster to kind of carry all of that through. I wanted to have a few little black and white elements on here just because I am using a black and white photo. And then my stamping is also going to show up in black. So it's going to kind of be a balance between all of these kind of pastel, florally feminine colors, and then a little bit of a black and white kind of edge to it, which is very much kind of my style, so it works well with a picture of me, especially since I don't scrap them very often. You can see off on the left of the screen, I have pulled out some stamps, some letter stamps from Close to My Heart, and they are called the Brush Letters Alphabet, and this is my first time using them, and I absolutely love the look that I'm going to get with that particular alphabet. I am going to do a bunch of my stamping off the screen, and then it will kind of come back on screen with some of that stamping done. I did go ahead and use like 2 separate generations of stamping, and that's what we call them typically in stamping. The first generation is like the black ink image, and then the second generation is going to give like that gray look to it. And so doing the first generation, second generation stamping, and then I'm going to even do a third generation with some little hearts, is going to kind of give me a bunch of different tones. I did take my ink pad and go all around the edge of my page because I wanted to kind of create that little bit messier look. And then I'm going to use these stamps to stamp out my title, which is just going to say Just Me. And like I said, I want to make that a little bit messy, so we are going to kind of do those 2 generations offset to make it look like it was stamped messy kind of on purpose, or hopefully it looks like it was done on purpose. And then I'm going to go ahead and in the stamp set that came with the Felicity Jane kit for this month, there is a little tiny heart that's like open that matches the pattern paper. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp that in 3 different little spots throughout my layout. So one over by my title, and then I'm going to also add a couple of those down by my embellishment cluster. And there you can see I'm doing that 3rd generation stamping. So one image in black, and then the other 2 are going to be different shades of gray, just as the ink kind of wears off the stamp naturally from stamping. And then I was trying to find a 3rd place to put an additional cluster, and it's going to end up going up here towards the top, and I really like it in that particular spot. And that is basically going to do it for this layout. So I went ahead and used the Stretch the Sketch for this, like, oh my goodness, my words, I can't speak today. We were each assigned a different sketch from the past year to go back and revisit as a layout. So this was the sketch that I went ahead and chose, although I did flip it sideways to give it a little bit different look to make it work with my embellishments and my picture. Do make sure that you click down below and check out everyone else's videos, because I am sure that they will have an easier time finding their words than what I did today. And I will be back to see you guys again soon. Bye!